Transformers fan G138, and I'm here with a video review of Transformers Generations Whirl. And yes, this is not the same generations as, the combiner set. This is actually like a legitimate non-repaint, which is kind of awesome. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late on these reviews. I have like Starscream and a couple others to do. I got these and I was just way too busy. So, better late than never, right? So, this is his helicopter mode, which is kind of awesome, rotating blades. I will say they advertise this as IDW Whirl. However, it's way more Generation 1 than it is IDW. Either way, it's still pretty cool. The cockpit opens, which is kind of awesome. It's not something normal. And the interior of the cockpit looks like it's been painted. Yeah, it's painted black, which is weird because they usually don't paint those. We'll say the downside, I did not put a lot of the stickers on here. I only put the Autobot logo here on his chest and one on his arm, simply because they don't fit. The new sticker sheets, the symbols and logos are too large. Like, this one comes up over the ridge and has this ugly little gap in it now. But, yeah, they don't fit where they're supposed to fit. And I ran into that a little bit with Metroplex, but because he was so large, hard to notice. With this guy, very noticeable, so I only put the two Autobot logos on. Anyway, rotor spin nice. It's a helicopter. He does have a gear walk mode, which is kind of cool, reminiscent of the Robotech iteration of him. Which I'm surprised they didn't get sued over, to be honest. To do that, well, before I get into that, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. Before I do that, let's talk about the weapons, because there's a whole bunch of them. I don't love them. I don't like any of them. They're okay. The fact that he has weapons, and they're all clip system compatible. So any of your old clip system Transformers, your weapons can work on here, and vice versa. And these weapons can work on them. These work well for vehicle mode. This kind of just snaps on another one, because otherwise it doesn't have a place to, attach where it's usable. And the rest of these, just peg on where you can. Oh, some of them just sound so horrible when snapping on. They're a harder plastic. And this one's cool because it's actually got a, 5mm peg here and here, which means they can peg in one of these two holes up here, but you do that and you block these, and this one had to, most of them have the 5mm pegs. It's just this one that doesn't. This one slips over his hand, like the Generation 1 version. Anyway, putting these weapons aside, and get them back off, we'll dig into the figure here. So, first thing to do to turn them into gear walk mode is pull these arms back and unclip the legs. Bring those down, clip these back into place. Here, we'll say that this black paint does scratch very easily. I have a nice chunk out of it already. That's just from like 2 or 3 transformations. This whole section will slide back. Your leg spins like this. Then the feet are the tricky part. You actually have to pull them up like this, and then the whole assembly slides down. And then this part here actually snaps into this part down here, like that, creating the foot. The first time I transformed this, that took me a little time because I felt like I was going to break something, so I didn't want to force it, but I was also reading the instructions at the same time, and that's what it was telling me to do, so I was like, I don't know. Anyway, that's gear walk mode. Zoom out a bit here. can. Yep, there we go. That is the gear walk mode. And then of course you'd put the weapons on and make it look really boss. Okay. Now, it's a short hop and a skip from this mode to the robot mode, which is kind of awesome. But I will mention that Hasbro, to put in the gear walk mode, it was not by accident. This part does not need to slide for robot mode, and it does not need to slide for vehicle mode. The only reason this thing slides forward and back is for the gear walk mode, which means, yeah, Hasbro totally did that intentionally. So, anyway, put those back. So, to transform it back into vehicle mode, you slide this apparatus from back here to forward, and then step backwards. And then, this is fun. You can take these, fold these around, so these will be in your way constantly. I guarantee it. So, we're going to untab the arms, and then just put them out all stringy like. Then we're going to take this whole assembly here pops in up here. So once you bend this down, you can take this and separate it out. Once it's out, rotate the legs down. Then rotate this whole assembly down. Up here. And then down around where this tab will tab into this slot here. Oh, it won't yet. Sorry about that. So next, we want to bend the tail down. And then there's a nice hinge in here. It's tough. Rotate it up and into this assembly. Like that. You may hear some pops and scrapes and stuff that sounds like it makes it breaking. But it's not. It's fully. Now, one thing to note with these two side panels, when you're pulling them back, they are geared, so they move together. So if one's not moving, don't force it. You're just going to snap the gears. My suggestion, pull them from both sides. This comes down. I mean, it's supposed to be an easy transformation. Then once it's here, there's actually tabs in here that tab under the wings on the back rotor here. They slide in, and they kind of stay in sometimes. And either way, it's not too important. It's just for aesthetics. Then that tabs down, that whole backpack tabs down where I showed you earlier. Next, just gonna rotate this backwards like that. That one's a tough joint, and I feel like I'm at some point gonna break it. There we go. And unfortunately, due to the way the feet are designed, there's no way to have his legs straight. Could do it like this, but your back foot is too much tilted backwards. You could rotate it so it's like that, but he's really off balance. So you almost have to have him the chicken leg style, which I think is a very Whirl design, so I'm okay with it. Alright, there you have his waist and legs. We're going to return to his back for a minute. So this is how the instructions show you how to transform his back. I'm going to rotate the head because it's kind of bothering me. So the head rotates around. This is how the instructions show you how to do it. However, they have a nice little hinge here. Or if you do that, it hangs down towards the center. I like it for symmetrical purposes, but you don't have to do it either way. I like doing it that way. There's always some leeway with these things. So up in the shoulder, these are really interesting hinges. They almost look like a ball joint, but they're not. They're on a double hinge system. So these come out, and they kind of just hang there. I don't like it because these parts in here are on ball and socket joints, and this one has a loose spot somewhere. I might have already fixed it. I don't remember. And then these just come around so that the screws are actually facing us, which is odd. Usually they try to keep those as hidden as possible. So next, his hands. Well, if anybody knows Whirl, they know he does not have hands. He's got claws. Well, this figure does not disappoint. He actually includes the claws. And there you have Whirl in full robot mode. And, oddly enough, his cockpit still opens. So, yeah, if you wanted to use him as a Robotech figure, you totally could. Don't know why you would. It's way better. Transformers is way better than Robotech, but that's just me. Although Macross, on the other hand, which is basically the same thing, is really good. And like I said, I have another blue showing underneath the black paint. It scratches easily. Okay, so, and even this sticker up here overlaps with the line and gives you a weird refraction pattern. Diffraction. Okay, so, basically he's got a lot of paint. The silver on his legs, the blue down here is painted on, the blue here, for the amount of paint they have on this guy, I'm surprised they didn't just throw the logos on and be done. But no, they didn't. So the only real IDW styling I get out of at all out of this figure is really in his head. And there we go. And that's just because those curved pieces. Originally that would have been flat and stuff. And I know a lot of people have taken to converting him to G1 and less like the IDW version. However, I kind of like the IDW character. He's kind of weird and different, and I like him. So, let's see if I can get my tablet to stand back up here. There we go. So yes, that's his head. He does have light piping. Doesn't work particularly well, like, at all. I mean, might work if I put him under the light. Not so much. Well, a little bit. Anyway, it looks nice. Decent figure. I like it, even with the minor flaws. Overall, and then his weapons can clip on wherever. I kind of like him better without the weapons, personally, but that's just me. Now, just because this is supposed to be the IDW figure, I almost forgot this guy today. And I really liked that story they had, one of the stories they had there, and where Cyclonus picks up one of the Cybertronian greatswords. Oh, this guy, I can't figure out how to get him to hold one. We got this guy who has a handhold. And if you remember, I actually made a custom Kirito adaptation from a Drift figure, which means I have an extra one of Drift swords hanging around. So I just gave it to Cyclonus, and it's kind of awesome. I really enjoy it. I really like it. I think it works out really well. So I'm kind of now assembling, instead of assembling the wreckers, I feel like I was sort of successful at that. Now I'm assembling the crew of the Lost Light, which, I mean, why not have Cyclonus holding a sword? It works out. I like him. That's just my little tidbit. He looks really, really good with the sword. Just, you know, advice if you do end up picking up a Cyclonus at some point. It kind of fits his whole aesthetic, too. But we're not here about to talk about him. We're here to talk about him. And size comparison-wise, I think it works. Yeah. So, articulation. Wow, I'm doing really good today. Ratchet joint here, double hinge here. These move together, they're geared. This moves like this. I don't even know how to describe that movement. A little bit there, this way. Head on a ball and socket joint. Hinged hips, swivel, no waist swivel. Well, I forgive that because the gear walk mode. And let's face it, most Transformers don't have waist swivels right now. But that's articulation. The feet don't have much at all, if any. And, he's just got this whole pile of almost useless weapons. But that's that. And I do have the ranking I put on this guy. I give this guy according to my sheet, 9.3 out of 10 on average. That's with the stickers and the paint chip. Actually, I might have readjusted it after the paint started chipping. Yeah, I gave him a 10 for the paint when I should have given him a 9. So that average would have been a little bit lower, but my guess would probably be 9.0 or 9.1 instead of 9.3, if that matters to you. So, that's that. I really like the figure. I'm kind of rambling at this point. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can post down in the comment below, or shoot me a personal message, or I guess Google Plus is now the new way of doing things on YouTube. I don't really know. I'm not in love with Google Plus, but I seem to be responding. If somebody named Justin Collins happens to respond, that is me. I have 2 YouTube accounts now because they separated my accounts because I wanted to continue using G138 as my YouTube name. So, yeah, if a comment gets posted or answered that way, it's really me. I have not figured out how to re-answer those with my G138 because I'm logged into that account, and when I post a comment, it posts in my other account, and I don't know why. But I'll figure it out eventually. So if you see that, it's just me. I'm actually answering it. I just have 2 different accounts. Okay, and that's me done rambling. So, without further ado, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.